Welcome back, friends, to Build a Lot Acres. It's another Tractor Talk series. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the very first super garden tractor and the tractor that the term was actually coined after.
Stay tuned.
The company and the model that the term was coined after is the Cub Cadet 982. So the 82 series consisted of several models of tractors. They had the 482, the 582, the 682. There was, multiple models, and the largest of those was the big 982, and that's when they coined the term super garden tractor. The 82 series were unique in a lot of ways. One of the biggest differences from the 82 series to the previous International Harvester Cub Cadets was they went from the traditional yellow and white paint job to now a red paint job. So what are some of the other differences that the red 82 series had?
Well, obviously, like you said, the paint, but another big one was the engines. So previously, the biggest engine offered was a 16 horsepower Kohler, and now the biggest one offered in the 982 was a 19.9 horsepower Onan engine.
19.9, wow. It's a big engine.
And it, again, just barely comes under needing
hops
in the States.
I think the 16 horse model would have been in the 1650, which was one of like the quiet line series. They had a special line of tractors that was supposed to be quieter. I believe they had something special in the hood and engine compartment that kind of helped with the noise and the vibrations from the engine, so it didn't make as much noise once it got past that surface. But like Brett said, when they went into the 82 series and the 982, they had a massive 19.9 horsepower Onan. In addition to that, they also had some other unique features. It featured a real Category 0 3-point hitch, and it featured a rear PTO, which to the best of our knowledge was the first rear PTO on a hydrostatic Cub Cadet ever. It also had a stretched out frame. It was about 6 to 7 inches longer than your standard Cub Cadet garden tractor. It was wider, heavier, had bigger tires. It had 26-inch rear tires and 18-inch front tires. And it also had power steering, which I believe was one of the first Cub Cadet garden tractors with power steering.
Sounds like it'd be one of the first garden tractors with power steering.
So the term super garden tractor really means the size is the biggest thing, but also the amenities and the features, the power steering, the bigger tires, more comfort for the driver. If you're a big guy, maybe you're 6'4" and you weigh, 300 pounds, that extra 6 inches of wheelbase is going to give you a lot more leg room in that operator area and compartment. So if you're using it all day doing chores, you're going to be a whole lot more comfortable.
So with the term super, it wasn't just that the tractor was bigger, but the implements were bigger too. And the two that I'd really like to focus on today is the 60-inch deck and the 54-inch snowplow, which were ginormous compared to what most other brands were offering, which would have been, say, 44 to 48-inch mowers and to say 40 to 42, 44-inch.
Yeah,
snowplow.
I mean, Cub Cadet also had the low boy series like the 154, the 184, and this new super garden tractor 982 really had similar size implements to those much larger compact tractors. So Brett, what are some of the specs of the 982?
Well, actually, what I personally find the most interesting specs-wise about it is the weight. So whereas a large majority of your super garden tractors are going to be between 9 and 1,100 pounds, the 982 is actually lighter, and it only weighs 875 pounds. So at least weight-wise, I don't think it quite qualifies as Super GT.
Well, it was the first Super GT, and the tractor they named the term after.
Yes.
But like Brett said, a lot of the super garden tractors of other brands, like your Boland's HT series, your John Deere 400 series, your Wheelhorse D series, a lot of those kind of tractors, the Craftsman FFs, they're going to be heavier than this tractor. Some of them by a couple hundred pounds, but the 875 pounds of the 982 was about 200 pounds, give or take, heavier than the other 82 series. And it also featured a 51.6-inch wheelbase, which was about 6.5 inches or so longer than the 44-inch wheelbase of the 82 series. Last thing we're going to talk about is the tires. So the 982 featured 26 by 12 by 12 rear tires and 18 by 8.5 by 8 front tires, compared to your standard 82 series, which had 23 by 10.5 by 12 rears and 16 by 6.5 by 8 fronts. So those two tire sizes we just mentioned for regular garden tractors and super garden tractors, by far, I would say, is the most common sizes. That's one of the easiest ways to tell if your garden tractor is a super garden tractor. It's typically going to have 26 by 12 by 12 rears, 18 by 8.5 by 8 fronts. If you have smaller tires than that, there's a very good chance you just have a regular, standard old garden tractor. So as far as years made, when the 982 was started in 1979, Cub Cadet was still under ownership from International Harvester. They got sold to MTD in 1982, I believe it was, or the spring of 81. And the Cub Cadet Corporation and MTD continued to make the 982 through 1984. So it was about half made by International Harvester, and the second half of the run of the 982 was made by the Cub Cadet Corporation, which was MTD. So they had about a 4 to 5 year run of this tractor. So I don't know that I've seen too many 982 Cub Cadet Super Garden tractors in person, maybe once or twice at tractor shows. But they're definitely a sharp looking tractor, and they really pop with that red paint. We owe a whole lot to Cub Cadet for coming up with that term, Super Garden Tractor. It's one of the coolest tractor terms I think that I've heard. And a whole host of other brands started coming out and labeling their very own Super Garden tractors. We had the John Deere 400, which later became the John Deere 420, and then they had the diesel-powered John Deere 430, which we have discussed in previous videos. We also had the Boland's HT line with their large frame tractors such as the HT20, the HT23. We had the Craftsman FF series. We had the Wheelhorse D series. We had a whole bunch of other tractors making tractors in that class to compete with the Super Garden tractor. In fact, if you enjoy Super Garden tractor discussions and videos, we have a bunch of other videos that we're going to link at the end of this video on your screen for your viewing pleasure. So please consider clicking on those to see more on Super Garden tractors. We certainly hope you guys are enjoying the series. And if you are, please leave comments below. Let us know how you think of them and what you want to see next in videos. Give us your ideas, and the best ones will turn into videos, just like today's. See you next time, friends.